Yes, a special one from the CEO, stand tongue with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the Southern Band. James on the beat.
On the spoon to get your information. On the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon, spoon, spoon television. Spoon, spoon, spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening in Monrovia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what's happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Vonjema, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat keep on gradually, my brother, to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You wanna get a news update, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. What I want? Yes, what you about today?
Spoon TV. Spoon.
Yes, what you about today?
Spoon.
Beseku.
Spoon TV. Spoon.
Bada.
Spoon.
Skidibidi dabado.
Spoon TV. Spoon entertainment.
Kuwa. Beseku kudileo. Kuwa kudileo.
On the spoon to get
Yes,
your
what you
information. On the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station. Spoon television.
Yes, a special one from the CEO, stand tongue with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the Southern Band. James on the beat.
On the spoon to get your information. On the spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening in Monrovia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what's happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, If you eat keep on gradually, my brother tout on spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, tout on spoon. Yeah, tout on spoon.
You wanna get the news update? Turn to spoon.
What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. What I want?
Okay, you want to get a news update to Spoon. You want to know what's happening in Liberia, what's happening at the ministries, the agencies to Spoon. Of course, the late night show is where we bring you the updates, critical analysis, and of course, a touch of everything right here, and affording you the time to call in, weigh in your thoughts on the different happenings. Thanks for joining us tonight on this edition of the program, the late night show, the late night politics on Spoon. We want to welcome all of our folks across the world. Thanks to all of you joining us on YouTube tonight, on Facebook. Those of you joining us on Spoon TV, Fabric TV, Super TV. The many of you who have joined us on Spoon Talk Live on YouTube. We appreciate you tonight. And thanks to our folks across Radio Land, across the different frequencies in the country. Those of you joining us on Spoon FM 107.5, we appreciate you. And thanks to our folks joining us um, on the affiliate radio stations across the country as well, on the different relays. We appreciate all of you. It's always great to be here to talk Liberia, to talk about the issues, to talk about what's happening across the country. And I want to welcome you. Let me go to the comment section and see who are those here. I see Moses Momolu here tonight. He says he's calling from Iowa, the USA. Thanks for joining us, Moses. Please share the program as you come on tonight. Let's hope you can share the show in your different group chats. So we have a great conversation here tonight. Lucini Kanen is here tonight. Lucini Kanen, thanks for joining us. Gorson Santo is here. He says he's joining us as well. Thank you. We appreciate you. Abraham Dunor is here from the USA, North Dakota. Thanks for joining us, AB. Thanks for joining us, AB. We appreciate you. I see Zico Ray is here as well. Abraham, that's Valley Cunning, has joined us. Mary Sando is here. Thanks for joining us. Charles Harding, Eric Miguel. I see all of you joining us. Nathaniel K. Hill. Hipko Kazi has been some time. Hipko, thanks for joining us tonight. And of course, I see Nathaniel K. Hill is here. And moving down, I see BT Johnson. Thanks for joining us tonight. Emmanuel Mani is here tonight. Momodu is joining us as well from Syncor. Thanks to everyone for joining us tonight. Let's talk Liberia, and I appreciate all of you for coming on tonight. There's a whole lot happening across the country. It's just important that we talk about those issues. Yes, a lot of you saw the post from the House of Representatives, the majority bloc. There wouldn't be any session tomorrow, and this is due to a funeral that the team will be attending tomorrow. And most of you are aware that at the majority bloc, at the House of Representatives, those who have been having session have been the majority bloc. Those are the group of people who have been having session quite recently. For about 1 month now, they are the ones who have been carrying on the regular session. So they pull up a statement today to say that there wouldn't be session. We'll put that statement up. Subsequently, make some analysis around that as well. But that's one of the happenings. So, contrary to what a lot of people, including me, expected, that we were just about to, table the late night show for tomorrow. due to the fact that we had to do some early morning engagement tomorrow. But somewhere around the evening hours, we got this post from the House of Representatives, or you want to say the majority black, that there will be attending a funeral tomorrow, so there wouldn't be session. And so that is that. And on the flip side, you have a lot of things happening. The LEC outgoing CEO spoke to the press today. He had a media engagement today, and he touched on a whole lot. Mr. Katan, you know, have served the LEC, and and then he's leaving. And he spoke on a couple of issues, but key amongst the things he said was that the government of Liberia owes the Liberia Electricity Corporation a little over $18.9 million. 18.9 millions. Despite engaging, beating on the door of the government of Liberia, they've not paid them the money. And so he thinks the only way electricity can be uh better, the service delivery can be better, is when the government of Liberia pays the money, $18.9 million they owe the LECC. Why this is happening? Um, Most of you follow the activity at the Supreme Court, and the court reserved the ruling into the ongoing political situation with the battle at the House of Representatives, following the legal arguments between the lawyers representing the majority and the minority bloc today. And that's something that happened. And yes, it's been going on. Liberians are looking forward to seeing when the ruling will come out of the Supreme Court. But yes, this is where we are. Uh, both sides are claiming, you know, that they're proceeding rightly. Both sides are claiming that the other side is wrong and is illegally proceeding at the House of Representatives. So we look forward to seeing how that goes. Uh, and yes, and a lot more happening across the country. Let me bring our brother George Weeder on tonight. George, welcome to the show. It's good to have you on tonight.
Thank you, Nelson. I appreciate you bringing me on. I want to say
Yes,
welcome to the listeners, and we hope to have a really good show tonight. Thank you.
yeah, definitely. We're looking forward to having a good show tonight with the many things that are happening across the country. We're looking forward to a very great show tonight. Yes. So I want us to get into the show, get into the conversations. Plenty of things happening across the country. And it's just very important to our audience. Please share the program as you come on tonight. Go to your Facebook, go to your WhatsApp, share the show. Let's hope we can have a great conversation tonight as we talk Liberia, as we highlight the issues, and just making sure that we uh, elevate the national discourse. Well, the finance minister declared his asset today. And the issue of asset declaration has been a concern, especially with the LACC banking on the door of the uh, banking on the door of the 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 Liberian government, the executive, even calling on the president to make sure that those in his employ declare the asset. The minister, having taken over just about a month ago, decided to do the needful. He declared his asset, and as per what the finance minister declared, um, his asset is in the tune of 500, a little over half a million. Um, his asset is in a little over half a million. That's what the finance minister declared as his asset, something which has been held as well as some. Um, yes. So we we're going to take a look at that as well. Yes, and a whole lot happening across the country. So the finance minister's asset is a little over half a million. It's 533,000. That's what he declared in asset. Today, that is in keeping with the code of conduct, which requires that public officials should declare their assets, especially in certain positions where they will be managing state resources. And then in the midst of that, you have the how do you call it? The managing director of the LPRC says he has made history for the first time. The price of petroleum product has experienced drastic decline for the past 6 months. For the past 6 months, and making specific reference to the price of gasoline diesel on the market. As it stands, gasoline is sold for $750 at some of the filling stations, but on the sidewalk, it's sold for as low as $580 in some places. Um, Over the time, we've seen the price of gasoline being one of the major issues that the government will have to go back and forth with. And then once the price of gasoline increases, then you will see the price of other commodities increasing, transport fare will start to increase, and all of that. So the Ministry of Transport of the LPRC is saying that they're making significant progress in that light, talking about the price of petroleum products across the country. Yeah, so these are just a few to mention. There seem to be, Josh, I don't know if you've taken notice of this, but there seem to be some wall of words now at the level of the information ministry. And Josh, that Matthew Yemplu, the assistant minister for information services, resigned.
Yeah, yeah, he
And
resigned.
um, following his resignation, he took onto the media to uh, to talk about some of the things he saw there, to accuse some of the folks there at the Ministry of Information, including the minister and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Daniel Sando on the other end is accusing uh, the the former minister Matthew Yemplu's wife, and this is getting to a point where it's becoming very, very personal. He went on to talk about the level of progress that they've made at the level of the Ministry of Information, uh, and that the roof of the entire place was damaged. That it was the leadership, the current leadership of the Ministry of Information, that made the some monies available, some of them from their pockets, to get the ministry up to what it is now, being one of
Mm-hmm.
the least funded institutions. But uh, it's sad that his colleague would be saying that. And then he went on to uh, accuse the wife of Matthew Yemplu, you know,
Oh my God.
and this is becoming very personal. You know, this is becoming very personal. He appeared on a local media. He appeared on the OK Conversation, and accused the wife of the former minister. So yeah, so there are a lot of things he said. I don't know if it is appropriate to even re-emphasize those things here, but this is where we are, and we can only hope that Liberia gets better. We can only hope that this country makes the progress that we're all looking forward to.
Well, Nelson, you
But
gotta be specific. What did he say to accuse the
you,
wife
you
of?
know, come again.
What did he say to accuse the wife of the former minister?
Yeah, so we're gonna go into the details.
Okay.
I want us to start the show officially. We're gonna
Yeah.
get
All
into
right.
it. We're gonna get into the details.
Let's
Uh,
do that.
yeah. Oh, this country. Josh, I want you to do your opening, and then we get the show started.
Nelson, I know for this entire week I'll be home. And so those who are seeing me on the show and asking why I'm regular, get used to this face because I'll be here until maybe Sunday, and then I'll be going back to work. So Nelson is a good time. This is one of the times in our lives that we want to live to see. You know what I mean? Because we used to be supporting the CDC government, and we used to have people who didn't see anything good that was happening in the CDC. They said everything was wrong. Uh, people were doing woman business before they gave them job. You know what I mean? Blah 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 blah. These people are quiet now, Nelson. These people are quiet when the internal affairs minister is caught on camera, Nelson. The president is quiet. We got a bubble president now. They want that bubble president alone
No,
that
no,
don't.
no. No. Josh. We have to respect the president. We can address the
Okay,
president
Nelson.
like
Let
that.
me
No,
let me water down. Let me water
we have
down
a
that.
president who has his own approach to things, who has his own way of handling
Also,
situations.
now we
Maybe
accept
you want to
that
put it that
people.
way.
So
Maybe you
Nelson,
want
we
to
need
put it
to.
that way.
So
Because in a
Nelson, are
Liberian
you?
setting, when somebody say bobo, that thing
So Nelson, that's how they used to classify president we had to be. They say a
no,
former
but
president. They used to say on
listen,
this platform,
we're not
and they
on the
were not
president Josh
chastised.
we are and President Baka thing here. We're on Liberia issue. The
Oh, so
campaign
so
days
now,
are
so
over.
now,
The campaign
Nelson,
days are
now,
over.
now it should be Liberia, and I cannot be President Boaka anymore. Nelson, this is the time that I really love to live in. I'm happy that I'm here because yesterday anything that happened in Liberia was President Weah's fault. Now it should be Liberia's fault, not the president's fault. It's okay, Nelson, but our president has refused to say anything about this rape allegation that occurred in Monrovia. We got videos, we got text messages, we got everything. All the evidence is right laying flat in front of our face. Our president has done nothing. He hasn't even called the minister to say, okay, maybe step aside or anything, Nelson. The poor lady is crying. But this is the rescue mission, Nelson. It is pathetic. It is a time that those who voted for this president should be ashamed of themselves, like my brother who had just come on the show. These people need to apologize to the Liberian people that they misled them. They lied to the Liberian people when they brought them into calamity. Because now, Nelson, we are in an era where now nothing is happening, Nelson. Nothing is happening. Other at the information ministry, people are taking the money that should be going to journalists for journalists to live a better life or to have good coverage. Because I see some journalists can be halfway covering programs that the whole phone can go off because no data. The money they're taking and putting in their pocket, Dana Sanders, they're putting money in their pocket to go home. And people are going home without money. Who's supposed to have the money? But now we should not talk about that. We should talk about Liberia. How do we talk about Liberia when we cannot talk about the people that are leading Liberia, Nelson? There's no way we can talk about Liberia because we need people to come to the national stage with ideas, with agendas, right? But even as we speak, the rescue mission or the rescue agenda has not yet been crafted. By this time, the PDP, the CDC document, which were called
The PDP.
That's why you
No, no,
laughing.
no, no, no. We have to hold George there because George,
It was
George,
crafted by this time, Nelson. By this time,
he's
we had
calling the PDP.
our agenda, yeah, our
I thought
proper
it was
agenda,
the
our proper
PDP,
agenda, our proper
you
agenda,
know.
our
But
PBD. It was already crafted. Everything was together. But now, 9 months later, this government has not yet even crafted their own. They just gave a contract of $1 million, more than $1 million to a company to craft their agenda. Nelson, this is the predicament we are in. But now people want us to talk about Liberia. We should not talk about this government. We should talk about Liberia. How do we talk about Liberia? Where is Liberia? Liberia is in the hands of Boakai. And when we want to talk about this country, we must mention Boakai. And Boakai is clueless. Boakai doesn't know what he's doing. Boakai is going to high school to celebrate instead of tending to the Liberian people issues. So Nelson, it's a sad time, but we're here to discuss the issue. Let's listen to each other and let's see how we can find a way because Boakai needs to step aside because he's doing nothing for our country. He's just enjoying our money since he became an adult.
Thanks a lot, Josh, for your input tonight. And let's welcome our brother Moba to the show. It's good to have you on, Moba. Please do
Thank
your
you,
opening
Leslie.
statement, sir. 1 minute.
Thank you, Nelson. Thank you to our many listeners. George, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, my brother. Yeah.
Great. Look, today, every day we come, we bash on the government, but as now let we talk about the good things that happening in Liberia, right? So I will start with one of the good things today. The gas price is a big difference, right? Doing George we have regime, you want to compare. If we're doing comparison today, the gas price today is 100 times better than George we have regime. In less than 1 year, gas dropped all the way. People buying gas now from probably like 600. So we will talk about
Some
the good
places
thing.
it's 580, especially
Good.
in the
No, I just want cut it like that because I know some areas even saw 560. I even saw 560 today, and I made some calls. People call me and they confirm it. Let me talk some of the good things. It's not everything. Every time we come, we talk bad thing about the country on radio. Every day we talk bad thing. Now we talk about the gas price. Last year, some all buying gas $1,000 when we were in Liberia, but today buying gas for 600. That's an improvement for the Liberian people when it comes to transportation sector. Not only transportation, but other businesses who using generator and other stuff. They will talk about that too. If you come every day, we say baga day, baga that, but there's a progress going on too in the government in some sector. Not all the sector is corrupt. No, I would disagree tonight. It's not all the sector is corrupt. Some sector is corrupt and some sector is not. Right? For example, we talk about the port. We can talk about the port. We can talk about LPRC. This entity bringing more money in the country, and when you do your own scanning, you know yesterday the man go and do some stealing or whatsoever. We talk about the good things. Today people can carry your thing to the free port, right? They get a bill, you free your stuff. Like before it was spent 2-3 months. You still checking. Let we talk the good things. Don't
I
forget,
mean,
every day
I
we come,
continue Liberia every year.
we
Stop
discuss,
lecturing me. You never
we,
to continue that. I'll take continue every year.
we
I'm not
discuss.
always there again.
My man,
I
look,
know the
if
process.
I gotta say continue before I know
Stop
how continue
lecturing me.
operate.
Stop lecturing me.
Josh,
Yeah.
do your regime say continue, make almost 1 year to the port. What you want to
That
say?
ain't true. That ain't true.
You're all on the social media crying.
So,
That argument. That go to
I want to appreciate you more.
yeah, but
Thanks
let me
a lot.
conclude.
Yeah.
Let me conclude.
Okay,
But
take 20
yeah, let
seconds
me conclude.
because
You
we
know,
have
Josh
to.
will interrupt. Anytime I come to the good thing about the government, you'll interrupt. No, my brother, like strategy. But let me conclude. My Liberian people, better things are happening in Liberia. It's not everything is bad. How much we pushing the government to pushing our feet to the fire. We understand how the country end up running by some people, but with all that, from all indication, there are a lot of good things happening too. Let us discuss it. Thank you, Nancy, for giving me the opportunity.
Nelson,
Well,
can I get 30 seconds, please?
uh, we want to
My man,
transition.
my man, we're going to topic. You
Okay, take
talk.
20 seconds quickly.
Thank
Take
you.
20 seconds.
Nelson, I was going to include this into my my opening, but one mobile came on, he distracted me a little bit. And here's what I want to say. Nelson, I want to applaud the president for signing an executive order, reducing tariff on imported agricultural equipment. And I think that's a good thing. But Nelson, what I want to tell the president is
Thank you very much,
Let me move
Josh.
forward.
We appreciate you a lot. Thanks a lot for.
I will still come there. Don't worry. It's okay.
But a lot is happening across the country. A whole lot is happening, and I want us to go back to start this conversation with the comment coming from the LEC outgoing CEO, Mr. Monica Tan. He said something today. He said, as it stands right now, as per their records, the government of Liberia is sabotaging the Liberia Electricity Corporation operation. The government is sabotaging their operations in the sense that the government owes the entity over 18 million without any payment plan. Now, over 18 million USD. The government of Liberia owes the
Nancy,
LEC.
sorry, can you tell the time frame, please? The time
No, no,
frame
I'm coming to
Oh,
that.
okay,
You know,
okay. All
obviously,
right.
it dates back to the previous years. He was there for 3 years, and they met some debts on the book. Under the previous regime, the debt increased, and all of that. But as it stands, it has come up to 18 million. The government is not paying the money, and the worst thing is that the government of Liberia has absolutely no payment plan. So he said, as a result of that, it is the government of Liberia that is sabotaging the operation of the LEC. That if you see people whom are not getting connected and some of the constraints that the institution have been faced with under his watch, it has been as a result of the failure of the government of Liberia to pay her LEC bill. I mean, this is coming from the CEO that is going out. The CEO that managed the institution for 3 years. His contract is expired. He's going out. But he's now spilling the entire thing. Now, the last time I remember there was a hearing, he went on to talk about this same debt issue and the need for the government of Liberia to take the first step in paying her debts for the institution to function well. I want us to start the conversation from here. With all of the beautiful plans that will always be made with respect to what the government needs to do to get electricity on, to make sure that the country is connected, we need investment, we need foreign corporations, all of those people to come into the country to invest. Why do you think we're stuck here in the first place? I mean, I want us to start the conversation from here with the LEC CEO talking about 18 million plus absolutely no payment plan from the government of Liberia. Let's start with you, Moba.
Yeah, thank you, Nelson. You see, sometimes it's just frustrating, Nelson, for somebody who already living and coming out with all the dead talk and making giving a statement and stuff. When he was there, my question to him tonight, and I will little bit going deeper. When he was there, how long, or did he make any payment plan with the government? Did he enforce payment plan? Did he bring probably a suggestion to how the government will be able to pay some of these debt? But now he's leaving, and then he's saying these things. That's the problem with Liberia, Nelson. We must be leaving before we talk. But when we dealt, because we know that when we talk, we get fired. And it is true. Because the moment he come to discuss about the government,
No. But
I agree with
in
you on
his
that.
case, he couldn't be fired. He couldn't be fired in his case.
Very good. He was on training position, right?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Granted. But then I will hold him responsible. Because as much he on a training position on our type of entity, on our type of big company, the company that are giving current to the entire country, right? And then you sit over there, you let the government just override the entire entity or the company, and you leave him before you saying these things. I think it is wrong. Now let's go back to from George Weah 10 all the way to Boaga 10, right? The amount of money, almost you say 8 million right now. Am I correct? 8 or 18? That's it. It is 8 million or 18 million.
No, 18.
18 million.
18.9, almost 19 million US dollars.
Look at the type of money government owning whole company and the company that provide current for the nation. And then you are there. You never set a payment plan. You never go there and enforce the payment and go to, that's I think the whole government, when it comes to the whole current issue, I believe that, right? Let it give the current company to private company. A private company, right? That will guarantee the country and tell the country I will give you 24-hour service. If you can be the government official or even the current is in the house, right? Or to the Senate or even to the executive mansion, and much that time we didn't pay that current bill, you call it off. You call it off. That business. You can make business with pleasure. Because end of the day, you will be losing. In a country, you can be who? You pay a current bill with a certain amount, they put on care while the snow falling or cold. They will call your current bill off. They will call your whole current off. Then now, before you start to you call them to say they want reopen your land, you pay a good amount of money. I think the government need to now prioritize the LDC so that our people can get stable current, and so that the government itself, right, can pay. And I don't know who Joseph Baga will bring in to succeed him, but I think that person got more work to do. And if they come, they should make sure the government pay that money. They should make sure the government pay that money. They should make a payment plan so that other places when I get current, they can use that money. At least even that money, nursing that money alone, you can add it or you build a brand new dam for the country. Why are we suffering? Why the government should get our own problem? You as a government entity, you owning LDC almost 19 million. I think it is wrong, and him bringing it on now is wrong. You mute, Nelson. You mute.
You're muted.
Sorry, this is very interesting. And Moba, you're asking the question as to why is he speaking out now?
Yes.
Maybe that's something we can talk about another day.
Yes.
All right.
Why now?
But one important thing to register here is that this is something that's been going on for some time. He said they've been engaging with the government. Now you remember there was a measure taken recently wherein, okay, before government entities just used to get current. They just used to recharge them. So their current now used to go off. If a government entity was out of electricity, then it was because maybe their line has problem and then they had to go and fix it. But they were just, like that, just going. But then recently, they tried to change it around, wherein every government entity now, you have to buy your own current. If you don't buy your own current, your meter, if your meter run out of electricity, it will go off. That's why you see sometimes at the Liberian Senate, the current can go off.
Yeah.
Recently, when the people are having session, the last one was the confirmation hearing for the 3 ambassadors to Japan, sitting guard, and that of Morocco. The current go off. It was around 6 p.m. The chair on foreign affairs, Senator Dillon, had no option but to table the hearing for another day. So these are things that are happening in the country. But I want to hear.
Let me conclude. I think that 2 things million in Liberia should be, very, let's say, the least thing for the Liberian people: water and current. That's the 2 least thing that even Liberians should be thinking about water and current. They should be thinking about technology, how to build skyscraper, how to build a new capital city, how to invent this one, how to create roads and other things. It's not about current and water. It's just frustrating for us to come every day. We discuss about current in the 21st century. We're talking about current. It's just frustrating. And I think the government, that's the best thing they need to do. They need to be paying that money. They need to be paying that money. They pay the quarter meter or whole government entity. You owing your LDC 19 million, but the poor man in your house, when he get meter or when he get current in meter, what happen? They call it off. But you guys there get almost $19 million for LDC. Thank you, Nelson. George,
go ahead. Let's hear your take on this issue.
Thank you, Nelson. And look, I would take this thing from another angle. When the CDC was in power and electricity was an issue just as it is, right? President Weah did not chastise LEC because he knew that this problem were his problems, right? If we want to say that the current LEC boss is not effective, but we are not paying our dues, then we are the problem. President Bouaka should know that these people, because like you said, Morba, quite frankly, I agree with you 100% when you talk about to privatize that agency or that particular entity, right? Because it is still under government. So you cannot sue your own self because you are under the same government, because the government employ you. The government can appoint you. You get me? If it was a private entity, of course they can sue the government and say we want our money because you owe us, right? But this is the government entity. You can say it's an autonomous agency, but it's still an agency of government. So you cannot sue yourself for your money. So I think what the government needs to do and what President Bouaka needs to do is to make sure to have a central administrative body for building infrastructure. Like for instance, here in Australia, we have the government, we get infrastructure, agency. Those are the people that can go and renovate other ministries. They will do this, they will pin the other ministry. They got their budget for that area. But if you put a budget in let's say for foreign affairs, you put a budget in foreign affairs budget for them to pin their own building, they will not pin it. They'll put that money and go drink liquor to shack or to somewhere around Boulevard there. They go drink liquor. That's what they would do. They will not pin it. So if you got a central agency, but guess what? If you don't get any money and give it to Moruba, they'll say, Moruba, you are responsible to pin our bidding. They'll be behind Moruba to pin our bidding, right? So then there's accountability there. But our people come to government without any ideas. They just come to make money for themselves, to come to put money in their pocket. So look, it is a sad situation, but I don't blame the outgoing executive director. I think he did his best. I think Liberia is our own problem because we don't say the truth. Even our leaders, they refuse to look at the problem and they find scapegoat for the problem. They will put you there. They know that they undermine you because they are not paying you to do the job. For instance, how will you make me a minister, but you're not paying my people to do the work and you expect me to be effective? And if I'm not effective, you want to fire me and you bring another person, then you still underpay the people and the people don't do the same work. So if you pay your bills, LDC will be great. LDC will be able to pay her, even her foreign partners that are supplying her with power. Look at $18 million. If that was going to be paid towards the current we're taking from our coast, they were not going to cut our land. But the government is consuming current or the power or electricity, but not paying their dues. And it's wrong. So guess what? Anyone who's going to go into that position, you are already been undermined before you even get there. Because you will not have the money you need to work with. And you start scraping here, begging people for current, only because you want a position. It's wrong. Our people need to know that to have a vibrant agency, you have to support them budgetarily and also morally to make sure that you go on the air and say, look, my people, your moral responsibility to the government or to your country is to make sure that you pay your bills. Let people not stop stealing current. Let pay your bill because you don't pay your bill, the current will not be reliable because we have to repair the equipment that are generating this power. So Nelson, it's a sad situation. But look, I want to say kudos to the outgoing executive director. I don't know the guy, but I think he did his best because I know how our Liberian people, they undermine their own agency. And then they'll go. My grandma used to say, these are the people who can go on top of the creek, they monitor the water, then they come down and start asking, why can't the water dirty? But they did it. Their government did it. The CDC government did it. Any government did it. They took power, they stole it, they didn't pay the people money, but they expect to have the power every day. And that's what the problem is, Nelson. It's a sad situation. So I say kudos to the air. I want to say welcome to whoever President Bouaka is going to appoint. I think it will be a disaster until President Bouaka makes up his mind to make sure that he pays his bills and his government officials pay their bills on time to make sure that we have a vibrant LEC or Liberia Electricity Corporation that will be able to meet the needs of the Liberian people.
But Josh, 18.9 million.
Yeah,
Almost
that's a lot of
19
money.
million.
Yeah.
Is that an amount you think the government of Liberia can pay anytime soon?
Nelson, look
That
at the
would be
president's
going
budget.
deep into the budget.
Look at the president budget. Look at the vice president budget, Nelson. If they can cut, they can pay for that. But these people, they will prefer to serve themselves first. You know, when Mr. Kumi said, leaders eat last, that's what it is. President Bouaka is supposed to make sure that these agencies are supported before they come to him. But for him, he want to go to Sierra Leone. He want budget for that. He want $100,000 on a credit card to be doing those things. If he had taken that money to say, okay, guys, let's make sure that we make our country a country that is worth coming to. Then when you come to
on a serious note, you just
Yeah.
said something very, very, very important, Josh. You go to other countries and you see how the lights, just the availability of electricity, beautify those countries at night. You come to Liberia, it's a whole different case.
different story.
Do you think that even the previous administrations failed this country when it comes to that? Because this is something that did not jump to where we are. The 18.9 million. It did not get there overnight. This is something that has been building up over time. All right? It has been accumulating. This administration over their 9 months in power, somewhere in 5 months into the administration, that's when they took that decision about entities, and because of that, the people can call the lights off now in the offices when they're going. But back then, all the lights will remain on, everything on, man. You
They
ain't
keep
get
it on
time
the go.
electricity coming. But
Yeah,
today, they
they'll
can
cut it
cut
off.
the lights off. Even
Good.
if you went to Capitol building now,
Mhm.
the lights are off because they know if those materials remain on, all those gadgets remain on, that extra
Mhm.
bill they will be, accruing. Now, the previous administration, and you go back to the President Ellen Johnson administration,
Mhm.
do you think there's something they could have done better to avoid us getting at this point?
Nelson, yes, there's a lot of things that they could have done,
Mhm.
to avoid us reaching to this point. It was simple, Nelson, to make sure that agencies and entities of governments that provided services to them were paid on time and in full. Nelson, the thing is common. We're talking about this, let understand that every government has their own agenda, right? The agenda of a government usually it's not the same. President Weah came to power and he said he wanted to develop infrastructure. He wanted to make sure roads are developed. This so he was focusing on roads and roads and roads, right? And then he came to building parks and public utilities, right? But the thing is that he did not focus on LEC, right? So LEC was lacking. And sometimes it's a balancing act, and especially when they are competing priorities, you
Mhm.
come to a place where you have to make a judgment to say, okay, which one do I focus on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we have limited resources. So Nelson, but in all, what we need to do as a country or as a government is to make sure that any organization, even the people that bring contracts with government, bidding roles, Nelson, make sure you pay them on time and in full. Because if you do that, you empower the community because it's the community that is getting the services, right? If you drove on any road now, is beneficial to
The
you.
outgoing head of the entity is saying that they've been banging on the doors of the Ministry of Finance.
Mhm.
They've been banging on the doors of the Ministry of Finance. Now maybe you want to go back a little.
Mhm.
Who those ministers, those finance ministers were or are?
Mhm.
Okay, so maybe you want to take Minister Gaffron out a little because he just took over.
Yeah,
It's been just a month or so.
yeah.
Um, but you want to bring in Minister. What's the name of the minister who just left? Boyman Kamara.
Roman Kamara.
And then,
Nelson,
and then
but
you want to go to Minister Samuel Twe,
yeah,
who
yeah,
was there for 6 years.
yeah.
All right. And then you want to go to the previous finance ministers. Who are those people that have been? And again, let's make some analysis around this. What could
Yeah.
have been their their reasons
Mhm.
for not giving listening ears to all the calls that have been coming from this entity, given how crucial electricity is, and also considering the fact that the more people, the more you pay these bills, the more the
Mhm.
entity goes out and
Expand
and expand the grill, expand the supply of
capacity.
electricity to other parts of the country.
Mhm. Nelson, look, I'm not a minister of finance, or I wasn't a senator or Bema Kamara, but I know why Bema Kamara, resigned. Because Nelson, Bema Kamara was a finance minister when there was oil in Liberia. A lot of money was floating around. He thought it would be the same when he came back. He realized the ministry is dried. There's no money. These guys were sitting out of government and they thought everything was bread and butter in government. They got there and realized that no, there's no money actually. There's nothing. So Nelson, when you got competing priorities, you try to prioritize. And I see from my own reasoning, I think they knew that okay, even when we pay the bill, they will not call our power. You see it? So they money will get it. They put it on the side. They put it on the side. You getting me? But if that decision had been made previously to say, look, if you pay your bill, you can be the president house. We'll call your line, right? I don't think they were going to leave it that long to reach to such an exorbitant amount, right? But I think they look at a priority. They say, look, I get $10. I want rest. I want soda. I want banana. Everything. the loaded for say will go buy rest bread. You see it? Them to go buy rest because you not get money for that one. You see it? So they just put everything together. Since somebody already face the rest bread, they just go, they put it on roll. They say that focus on
Thank you.
roll, and they guys will still pay us. They will still give up power, even if we don't pay our bills. So that's exactly what happened.
So, in other words, you can say they contributed to the darkness, Liberians
did.
are faced. But let's take your take on this craze. The LEC outgoing head is saying that Mr. Monica Town is saying that the government owes the entity some 18.9 million, and they've made all efforts to get the government of Liberia paid, but the government is refusing.
Let me say good evening, Nelson. Good evening to my fellow panelists.
Thank
and
you.
good evening, viewer. Nelson, I will first, before I dive into that local, we ask a question that have to do with early time to present, how they are treated LEC. How to start from before I come to the question, to the present issue. Nelson, from the fundamentals of the whole LEC issue, there were mistakes made. What am I trying to say? When all men came to Liberia, when they have the first LEC board before Monique Carton took over, they were paying the mayor around close to 30,000 per month. Then look at it this way. The money all mayor was given to that particular entity lesson, they would take that money, the various cities in Liberia, the Banga, the Ganta, I thought to Botswana, one in Liberia. I went to Namibia. Nelson, those solar panel, the BB one, can supply Ganta. Just come on, you can invest 2 million. You buy a solar panel, it can supply Banga. You just put one in Banga, you can supply Banga. If you could do that in the various cities in Liberia, Nelson, we could be talking about this today. And besides that, you pay one person at LEC, the boss, close to 20,000 per month. It's a waste of resources. And the next thing is, I think where Mova spoke from, the government have to give LEC to basically people, private entity. You can divide into subdivisions, sub branches around the Pinville. Give it to private person. Only thing the government knows, at the end of the year or budget year, you will need 5 million from the one in Pinville. That's when you know. If they give the NEC out, they have 60, you don't have nothing to do with it. The only thing you know at the end of the year, collect the 5 million from that particular branch of that NEC in Pinville. If you're in Broadville, if you want your 4 million every year towards the budget, the only thing you know at the end of the year, collect the 4 million. They get the NEC out, they will supply it, you have nothing to do with it. You will not be spending money, paying government official or paying somebody there at the end of the month, 50,000, paying this. You will have no reason. Now that comes to the government only AECC. Nelson, let me tell you, AEC, for example, sorry, let me say this. Our whole money, the outgoing chairperson responsible, Nelson. What I'm saying this, in leadership, you don't have to be afraid. That's a problem we have today in Liberia. If the transport ministry, for example, or media education don't pay the money at the end of the month, cut them off. Cut them off. If you can cut the old man who say in the weather market, the red light, at the end of the month or end of the week, when our current get expired or finish up from a meter, you call off one more of the ministry or the ministers. There'll be a precedent. The law should not just be for the common people. If a minister find out at the end of the month, they don't pay that coverage, cut them off. You wasted time, you never for any regime, for Joe regime. The money just block that regime alone. No. It came for any maybe we have to it came to the public government. So it been like in the system, my man order today we will not pay the money. They will go to the next government. They've been doing it. So the leadership for ANC have been relying with now deal with the government officials. They are being afraid. So the lawmaker, even in their homes, they use the ANC, they don't want to pay at the end of the month. How will you operate this way? How you want ASA improve? How you want for ASA go across the country? It's impossible. So for the 18.5 million plus you're talking about, let's see. I don't see the government paying it right now. It's not possible
Wow.
because,
Wow.
because look at the issue. Listen, trust me. If one will try a baby, you get 5 million. They'll leave it another 1 or 2 years pass. I don't see the possibility of paying the money right now. And why he racing a lot right now? He been there. He just going out. He just a few more weeks of 1 month ago. Why bring a lot right
Actually, the LEC CEO is leaving. The executive chief executive officer is leaving on the 29th, or at the end of the month. So today in Liberia, today is Thursday, right? And today is the 20th. So today is his last day in office, because the 29th is a holiday. Obviously there wouldn't be any working activity, and then the rest of the day, Friday is the 29th, is a holiday, Saturday is a weekend, Sunday is a weekend, and just like that. So today is the last day in office, but this was part of the engagement to see where they are.
and let's see, I don't think it's nice at this time. He could have done this 2 months ago when the government took over, or 4 months ago, 5 months ago. Now you leave the office. This is what I keep saying. I'm about President Walker. Let the safety act in a position for now. This is your last, the ASTC, the next 6 months. Get a part entity. Don't put a new boss. No. Let the assistant to him be acting, to be acting. Why you look for partners around to this election processes in Liberia, give it out to people, Pinville, Broadville, Bannonville, or Marshall. Just give it out to people. There are people in Liberia who want to do it.
Thank you.
As a close, government, paying those people 20 million. 20,000 per month, 50,000 per month is a waste of resources. We don't have money already. Get the thing out of business people to try entertain to take over AECC. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Now,
LEC, Chris.
yeah. So
AECC.
so we'll take that and then throw it somewhere else. But
Yeah.
it's very interesting, and we can only look forward to seeing what the government would do with respect to getting these debts settled, because whichever we put it, regardless the management team that goes at LEC, if these debts cannot be paid, if this particular debt cannot be paid, 18.9 million, it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna take away from a lot in terms of progress that the institution should be making and all of that. So it's just fair that they pay. Yeah, and he's saying that the government has been sabotaging the operations of the institution, and this is just big. This is just very big. But I want us to transition a little. We've been looking forward to the Supreme Court. A lot of people have hoped that today the Supreme Court would have handed down a ruling into everything that's happening at the level of the House of Representatives. Well, there was reserve ruling today into that particular situation. The both sides of the arguments were heard by the legal teams, and it's expected that early next week or so, the court will be handing down a ruling. But in the midst of that, the both parties have maintained that they're proceeding rightly, and that the other parties are wrong. The Justice Minister, presented a note. I guess most of you followed that as well. Saying that this thing that is happening at the level of the House of Representatives is purely political. It's purely political. And in the midst of everything that's happening, the country is stuck. The country is in that position where everything is just, at a standstill, especially with the Senate yesterday coming from the leadership meeting to say that they're going to pause sending every legislative instrument to the House of Representatives until they can settle this issue. I mean, I want to start with you, Morba. What do you think is happening here? with the current situation unfolding at the level of the House of Representatives, the ruling from not the ruling, but the arguments that the both sides are making at this particular time. I want us to make some analysis around this issue now. So the Ministry of Justice, through its Solicitor General, advised the court not to interfere in the matter at hand, which questions whether a constitutional status has been violated. So, reference was made to Section 2.2 of the Executive Law of Liberia, Section 9.64 of the Civil Procedure Law, asserting that the issue does not constitute a constitutional violation of any statute. This was from the Solicitor General. Now, remember, guys, there was a request to have the Solicitor General, appear as well, to see whether what is happening is, right or wrong, to give his opinion on this particular thing. And this is what the Justice Minister wrote. So what do you think is happening here? In the midst of this, there have been arguments. And maybe we want to go into some of the issues that the both parties raised today. For example, the embattled speaker's lawyer opened the argument today by petitioning the court to place a stay order on the majority black leadership. And the legal team was arguing that the majority black is operating illegally. And therefore, they were demanding that a stay order be placed to stop the operation. Those were the arguments from Councillor Arthur Johnson, appealing to the court to declare the action of the majority black unconstitutional. On the flip side, the Justice in Chambers, Justice Cabal, asks as to what makes that particular, action unconstitutional, according to the Councillor Johnson. So the argument was put forward from both ends. They were quizzed, they were cross-examined, and all of that. So the court heard the ruling today. But even at the level of the Supreme Court, the legal team of Councillor Kofa is maintaining this position that what is happening is unconstitutional, but the court and that the court should put a stay order and declare everything that the majority black have done so far as unconstitutional. Well, on the flip side, Councillor Vani Sherman, on the other end, who is not just a lawyer but have been a lawmaker as well, was making the argument on behalf of the majority black that body is more political than legal. And so what is happening is in the confines of the law, because similar things have been done before that saw the removal of speakers. In the midst of everything, the Justice Minister, the Solicitor General comes in. He says, Supreme Court, I advise that you do not interfere in what's at hand. That body, and he stated different provisions of the law, talking about Section 2.2 of the Executive Law, Section 9.64 of the Civil Procedure Law, and all of those different, references he made, and providing reasons why the Supreme Court should not interfere with what's happening at the level of the House of Representatives. The Solicitor General, the legal team of Councillor Kofa versus the legal team of the majority black. I want us to make some analysis around this. Let's hear from you on this, Moba, and then we're going to go to Josh and Chris.
Yeah, thank you, Nelson. Look, the law, there's in the identical situation, the law too much. The Constitution, the law, the articles, all come with backing. All the things they do come with backing. But if the justice in chamber not interfere, it's not like the justice is giving a direct direction or control or telling the body that you got to do this. No, the justice only there to set the guideline when it comes to the constitution matter, to interpret the law so they can go by the constitution. That's it. So like I see nothing bad for the justice for the they put in I mean that's the justice department to interfere in the identical matter because it concerns the Liberian people so much to the extent that the area it reached at now, it's getting out of hand. Because that imagine now, the both party arguing, the other person wrong, the other person wrong, the other person wrong. And if because they and with all the argument they on, they said whenever I mean anything the justice minister said, I mean the justice department come with or the law or they put in team in
The justice in chambers
the justice in team come with.
or the
Right?
Supreme Court bench.
The Supreme Court, they will agree to it. The both parties said they will agree to it. They will not go against it. Now it left with the Supreme Court to come back with ruling. If it will be negative or be positive or it will be for the majority or the minority. So if even the Supreme Court said they interfere in anything, that's it. The Liberian people saw because what happens, even when they're working with the majority, the minority is not working, it's not made no sense. And end of the day, you see people.
Mobile, given the advice coming from the Solicitor General here, if we were to have a situation where the Supreme Court, which happens to be the final arbiter of justice in the country, decides to stay away from what's happening at the House of Representatives, and also taking into consideration that the upper house have decided to pause sending any legislative instrument to the lower house until this issue can be resolved. Now, if the Supreme Court decides to not get involved in the name of not wanting to interfere, do you see this issue being resolved or addressed anytime soon?
That's what I'm saying.
Is there any reason why you think the Supreme Court should not get, the judiciary should not get involved with this particular happening here at the House of Representatives?
That's what I'm saying. That's on the justice side. I will tell you that for real. Because end of the day, the Liberian people suffer. Now, the Senate said they won't do business with the House of Representatives because they got to settle that disputes. Without settling that identical dispute, how the Senate will do business with them? They got to pause it. And that's it. Let me say this tonight. It's a prediction. As long as the Senate, right, come up with an identical statement, all of agencies and all of people that will start coming with that same statement, they will say, you know what, my man, you guys got to settle the matter before we bring anything over there. Trust me, probably that's what will happen in the next 1 or 2 weeks. If they, if they settle the identical issues, it will affect the Liberian people. So I think the justice in Timor, they got to come up with a solution. I think to ease the whole tension about the whole who speaker, who not speaker, speaker 1, speaker 2, speaker 3. But all we know the legit speaker is Funati Kofa. Until it can be done rightfully, then we will come in and say, yeah.
Okay, say all you know. Say all you know. Don't speak for everybody because people have different opinions and some people are neutral.
Okay, all me and George know. I mean, people, me and George.
Don't say all we know. Okay, but let's hear from you. Because listen, the reason why for me I would stay neutral in this thing is because I think the both parties have some legality, some constitutionality associated with the way they're proceeding with this thing. You know, and that's just where I stand with that. And we can make all the analysis around it because at the end of the day, these are the real issues. But again, the both parties, they may all have some shortcomings and pitfalls with respect to how things are proceeding. But yeah, but Josh, let's hear a take on this issue, given the advice coming from the Solicitor General, the court ruling, court reserving the ruling, and all of that, the reserve ruling.
Nelson, I listened to the Solicitor General, and I did not really understand his position. Maybe because I'm not a lawyer, that's why. But I think what I heard from them was that the court should not interfere, that this was not a constitutional matter.
Yeah,
Um,
basically that's his point. That's the point
yeah,
the solicitor
that's the
is
point.
making.
Yeah, and but I think they're wrong if that's what they're saying, because the Constitution mentioned strictly what should happen in a House of Representatives, how Speaker is elected and how he's taken out. So if you want to do another way, it's against the Constitution. So I don't know how the guys think that it had nothing to do with the Constitution. These are the things that, Nelson, when we say, when we critically analyze things and then we get backlash from other people who, without any clue whatsoever, want to argue. The thing is, Nelson, the Constitution say elect a speaker every 6 years, right?
Mhm.
And they say a speaker can be removed. The same Constitution talking you, the speaker can be removed for a cause, and that cause it should also follow to tear, right? Of the horse the horse members, right?
Mhm.
This did not happen, Nelson. They did not happen. So the constitution is going against the Constitution. So I don't know how a Buakai Solicitor General is thinking that it is not. You know, that's the problem, Nelson. And these are the people that are advancing Buakai, and he's doing all these wrong things, Nelson. And I want to commend the House of Senate. I think they are coming to their senses that this thing is not warranted. Liberia needs better. Look, Nelson, we are behind. You can't be behind everybody in a race, then you step on people, then you want to sit down and take all the people from your journey before you can start running again. This is what's happening. These guys, for their own selfish, reason, they want to remove speaker. And I don't know what a coon needs to be speaker at all costs. You did not win a speakership from the beginning, even though white guy called people to his house to pay them money to do all sort of things. You did not win it. For nothing won. Relax. Wait for another time, another 6 years. You're still in there. But this guy, at all costs, he want to become a speaker. He left his left hand, right hand on the all type of places because he's so able for this position. They're saying it's unwarranted. We don't need this. And I want to thank the Senate for coming to the senses and realizing that if they are trying to do business with one other people, they are trying to infuse gasoline into the fire. That means this conflict is like the same reason why President Taylor was sent to prison, because he was selling, according to them, he was selling arms and ammunition to one faction. And because that one faction started getting armed and selling diamonds to him, the conflict did not end. It killed innocent people. So if Wakai continue to send paperwork to these people to continue to make them to feel that they are the rightful people, then that means he's supporting them, and that conflict will continue. And when it continues, we'll not have peace in the country. And maybe because Wakai is doing all this because he has no clue. Nothing is happening in the country. Everything is just down. So when everyone pay attention to the legislature, they will not pay attention to all the things he's doing. He's going to 17 to take pictures. He's, all these things he's doing. That's why I think he's trying to infuse, fire into this, gasoline into this fire.
But Josh, you're trying to drag the president into this thing.
He is
Is the president in a way connected to what's happening now? I want us to go back a little. When Councillor Kofa appeared on this network during that interview, he was asked as to whether, given the situation at hand, he needs executive intervention. Whether he thinks it's prudent for the executive to intervene for the president. He said no.
Yeah.
He said we don't need executive intervention because we can handle our own issue. We are a separate branch of government. We have the capacity. We have the everything it takes to handle our own situation. So I'm coming just to end up here. And then the president, when he went out of the country again, they asked him about what's happening. He said, no, the people, that's a separate branch of government. They're going to handle their own issue. So if the speaker is saying that they don't need executive intervention, and the president on the other hand is saying that these people, they are a separate branch of government, they will handle their own issue, they have the ability to do that, why should someone think that the president is behind this? The president is connected to this, when in fact, the speaker is saying that he doesn't need the intervention of the president. The president is saying that those people will handle their own issue.
Nelson, you're right. And I agree with you 100%. And I agree with the speaker when he said he did not need the president's or the executive branch intervention. And Nelson, what he did not want, that's what's happening. The president is intervening by sending paperwork and sending his ministers to go to the other people. That's intervention, Nelson. You don't have to come. Intervention does not mean to just come and make peace. But recognizing other group, like recognizing Palestine and not recognizing Israel, is intervention into the people conflict. So that's the whole thing. If you recognize another group, that means you have intervened. He told them, stay away from our conflict. Let him handle our thing. You can come in later on to work with us, but let him handle our thing. Don't intervene. So the president is intervening, he's intruding into this conflict by sending his ministers to go and stand before these other guys. And I think that's the problem. This president is trying to destabilize the country, doing his best to make sure that this country is destabilized, because when it's destabilized, we'll not see his shortcomings.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's hear your take on this, Chris.
Thank you to Mova and Joe for their points. But I will look at it from a different perspective, taking the both parties into consideration. Especially the Justice Minister and the Secretary General of Liberia, there was a little error, Nelson. If you talk about interference, the Supreme Court is the hardest decision making, the final appetite of the land.
The final arbiter of justice.
Yeah, of the land. And the Justice Minister and the Secretary General, they forgot on certain things that I want to just bring to the public attention. Things that have to do unconstitutional. The Supreme Court has the right to handle it. They should take that into consideration. Things that is unconstitutional. The Supreme Court has the authority to bring the final decision up on that. The next thing is the Speaker wasn't given a due process. When Councillor Vanishan talked about interference, they asked a question about Article 15, Article 36 of the Constitution of the 1986 Constitution of Liberia and I think 1914 Constitution, 1940 and 1924 Constitution. And he was like, not trying to balance the argument. And these are things that were taken into consideration. I know the full bench, based on what happened to take into consideration is the Speaker wasn't given a due process. Number one. Number two, in the action of the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker presided, over the session. When those guys went in the majority black went in the other area to have their session or also a meeting. Yeah, but when the Deputy Speaker should have presided over that session to bring all the petition after the left other area, it will be in the legal. But in that case, the Deputy Speaker never went there. When the Speaker returns back to the country, the Deputy Speaker was in session with the Speaker for almost a week plus. The mistake those guys made is when they went into session to the other area to have that session, there was no election to have President Pretemry or whatsoever to preside over that session. They couldn't do it. They left it on blank. In that case, it became unconstitutional. When the Speaker came back to the country, the Deputy Speaker was still with the Speaker, and they will still have the session. And the next thing is nothing. Now, after it takes a research, has to do it. When the Speaker, asked those guys to go to session, right? They refuse, number one. In that case, what they should have done is, this is our plan, right? This is what we're going to do. They are not doing election time. After the letter, Rachel Kuhn, President Kuhn, there was no election for the record of carry to say, Robinson Samuel Koga, yeah, or I voted for Edward C. Oka Camp Ballot, right? There will be someone that cast the vote. That's the procedure.
Okay, so what I'm getting from you, Chris, is you think that because there was no voting process after
Yeah.
the resolution was read,
Mhm.
you think that is unconstitutional, is illegal, the way
Mhm.
they proceeded with the entire resolution thing because there wasn't any voting process. You think so?
Yeah. That's one error, Nessie. If you
Okay.
remove these people to elect people, right? You say you have an election for the record to carry because it's a public issue. The record have to carry. If Rachel Kun go on white ballots, there should be somebody to carry that vote. That's the election procedure. The record never carry. And the next thing is when the process was going on, you would see that there was no roll call. It was not on the agenda for election to take place on that day. Where the agenda for that day, if they want to have election, there should be a motion to be added to that particular item to be added on the agenda. But on the agenda, there was only one item. There was no election on the agenda. So how can you come to conduct election where is that on the agenda? So these are things that people take into consideration because these are things that record they will be kept for the future. So the
Thank you
majority of
very much.
errors, they are internet errors, and they have realized that the procedure was that they thought it wasn't correct.
But
The
Chris,
mistake on the
one
way.
thing I want us to take into consideration here is that those people are lawmakers. Majority of the people down there, Josh, we're going to give you 20 seconds. I see you had your hand up. But majority of the people you see up there, they are not people who just came from somewhere and don't know about how that house works. Take, for example, the man who is leading the charge, Sam Koga, is one of the longest serving lawmaker at the House of Representatives. The man who is also part of this fight, Representative Thomas Fala, has been one of the longest serving representatives at the House of Representatives. Do you think, with all of what you've explained, Chris, that those lawmakers, with all of what they know, will make those kinds of elementary mistakes you're talking about with respect to the agenda,
Yeah.
the voting process, and all of those things? You think they will knowingly, given their experiences, walk into the errors you're talking about, knowing fully well that there will be some backlash if they did that? You think so?
Yeah, Nessie, they realized when after that particular procedure, they realized that there were procedure errors, but at that stage they couldn't back up. They couldn't back up already in the fight. They realized procedure error. And the next thing, then look at this, right? The tutor they talk about because the Justin team, I think Yusuf Kaba was touching on that today. The Article 49 in the Constitution. So the removal of the speaker, you should have to tell. Your minute to tell, for instance, say a court of council, for instance, they have 51. Now the question is their record on that day we get 51? You say, oh, they have 51. So that means you should have to tell, which is 49, to remove the speaker. If you don't have the to tell, you can't remove the speaker.
Thank
So
you. I want to hold you there. Let me hold you there, and let's give George his 20 seconds. Josh,
Nelson, thank you. Nelson, I always hear people arguing about first branch of government. You can't interfere with this, you can't interfere with that. Nelson, I just want to break it down to the Liberian people today in the simplest term possible, right? Nelson, everyone got their power in the government of Liberia, right? That other people don't have. Let's say, for example, you can make the law, you cannot enforce the law. To enforce the law, it must be the judiciary, right? If you even want to impeach somebody, right, you will call the chief justice to preside, right? Without the chief justice being involved in that proceeding, they are unconstitutional. Yeah, you cannot do it. So that means people working coordination. For example, you can be the legislature, you can be the judiciary. You cannot handle the finances of the country without the executive. You can't get paid. You see, everyone is very important and collaboratively work together to make sure the government functions. So nobody can be overlooked. If you overlook me, I will not pay you. You see it? So if you made law, I will not implement the law. You see it? So everyone is equal, and no one can be overlooked. So I see
So,
people
so,
say,
Josh, are you
"Oh,
agreeing? Are you agreeing now with the advice from the Solicitor General when he
I don't
said that
agree.
the judiciary should not interfere with the working of
I
the
don't agree, and
leg-
that was to buttress my point, Nelson. I don't agree because they work in collaboration to make sure that things are held together. The government function now, the government is not functioning because you cannot pass a bill now, right? So if they are not functioning in coordination, they cannot work. So one person have to intervene for the other person to work. You see it? For the judiciary to be able to go to work every day, the executive have to pay them, right? For the legislature to go to work every day, they must be paid. You getting me? To go to work. So that collection of money for the country, that executive doing it. You see it? So you cannot tell me, say, oh, you cannot intervene. We intervening by
Okay.
paying you
So
to
let me
work.
ask this question. Let me ask
Yeah,
this
go
question,
ahead.
and I want to pin one of the comments. Thanks to all of you joining us on the show tonight, Lean Lacour,
Then like, I'm not saying that the
Mana
executive
Collie,
can impose
you
the law.
know,
I
my
know the
dearest
executive
cousin
can enforce the law,
Fatiman and
but they
Madam
can
Marcia
interpret the
Stanley.
law.
Thanks to all of you guys for joining us. Please share the show as you join in tonight. But let me say this. I want to pin a comment here from one of our viewers. This is from Waplo Bird. Hope I got the name right. But he said, judiciary interprets the law.
Thank you.
Judiciary
I agree
interprets the law.
100%.
So where do we draw that line? Where do we at what point do we distinguish interference from interpretation, which happens to be the actual function of the judiciary?
That's the
At what
thing.
point do we draw the line between
Nelson,
interference? Because it's very important here.
Mhm.
The justice minister is saying that, look, everything that's happening here, judiciary, you have to back off. You got to stay off. If you dare go into this thing, you'll be interfering with the workings of the first branch of government, the legislature. Where do we draw the line
Yeah, so
between
Nelson,
interference and
Nelson,
interpretation? Now, I
Nelson.
want to start with Moba, then we're going to
Okay.
come to you.
Okay, no
Moba,
worries.
but I don't think Moba is with us. So go ahead, Josh. Go ahead, Josh.
Now we are.
No, come on, man. Josh, Moba, you can't be doing this, man. You're co-moderator on the show. You can't be doing this, Moba. Josh, let's hear your take on this issue. At what point do we draw the line between interference
Mhm.
and the actual function of the judiciary?
And that's the thing, Nelson. And that's a question for this Solicitor General, who feels that by interpreting the law is interfering, right? Because whatever way you look at it, the country is governed by laws, not by men. You know what I mean? So whatever everyone is in that country, they are governed by the laws of the country. You can be the president, you are governed by the law. No one is above the law. So if the law is being interpreted, there's no interference, Nelson.
Okay. Let me ask you this question.
Yeah, go ahead.
The president is the president of the country.
Yeah,
Constitutionally, we say no one is above the law.
yeah,
The judiciary's responsibility is to interpret the law.
yeah.
Can the judiciary subject the president to a legal to our legal authority, as in going to court? Is that
Mhm.
I mean, can the judiciary subject the president? Maybe question the president. Maybe call the president and say, okay, you did this, you did that, come here, come. I mean, we're inviting you. Can the judiciary subject the
Yes.
president?
Yes, I can sue the president of the
Okay.
Republic of Liberia now.
You can
And
sue the president. Can the
yes.
president appear in court?
No, by law, according to them, when you're in office, you cannot
And-
appear in court. But guess what? You got to
This is
send a
where it gets
representative.
confusing.
You have to send a representative. You have to send a representative. You can't just say,
No.
I'm going next week. Say that. No, that would be putting yourself above the law. You have to send a representative in court for you.
But
So your lawyer will
Josh,
represent you in court.
let's do it like this. Let's do it like this.
Yeah, go ahead.
The president, while
Mhm.
serving as president,
Mhm.
cannot sue and he cannot be sued constitutionally. If you sue the president now, the president will face a legal battle after he shall have left office.
Now,
All
saying
right,
there is
those are
there
part
is
of
a
the
trick around
constitutional
that. There's a
immunities
trick
of
around
the
that.
president.
I can sue
So why-
Joseph Numa Boakai. I
Mhm.
will not sue the president, but I can sue Joseph Numa Boakai. You see it? There's a way around everything, Nelson. Look,
But who make the
studied these
president?
things. We have studied this. What? We
Who
have
make the
studied this.
president?
Nelson, why you
No.
think other going say more about why you think people can go to court and say I'm not here in my official capacity, I'm here as this other person? It's
Come on.
because
You
there
know,
is
and that is very
there is a presidency. You can sue the presidency, but you can sue the president. You can sue Yusuf Imabwaka now, and legal representative will go to court.
okay.
But
No,
you
no.
also-
The point I'm making is, and when we're
Yeah.
still going back to this issue between the judiciary and the executive, the
Yeah.
considering the advice coming from the justice minister as to whether he's right when he talks about interference in the case where the
not
judiciary
right,
was to
man.
get involved. So let's go to Moba, guys. Let's go to Moba. Let me lead a judgment. Moba,
you know,
Moba, what do you
George,
think? At what point do we draw the line between interference and the actual responsibility of the judiciary, which has to do with the interpretation of the law?
That's I think when it comes to constitutional matter, the judiciary get it right to interfere. But without, as long nothing is binding on the constitution or against the constitution, right? The judiciary branch get nothing to do with it. They can look at what they want to do. Meaning, when it comes to the government function, that's what I'm speaking from. When it comes to government function, for example, maybe somebody went and okay, like for what happening now between the representative and stuff, right?
Yeah.
As long as it not go in the confines of the law, the judiciary has no right to interfere. But as long as it cross that boundary, it enter the law, the judiciary can kind of interpret the law for them, so they can put it on God, and the judiciary can interfere in an identical matter.
No, but again, Moba, then you're confusing something
I
because
can't tell that
interference.
if it is constitutional matter.
No, interference. If you're talking about a constitutional issue now, then you have to be careful how you even use interference, because all three branches of government are equal, and they are supposed to discharge their duties, their responsibility without interference. So interference in the sense now would mean I'm supposed to do my job. You're supposed to do your job.
You get interfere in the man's job. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
No, yeah, I come to your office. I want to tell you how to do your job. In fact, I'm doing something that will stop you from doing your job.
No.
That's interference.
No, the judiciary can interfere in an identical matter. I don't think they can stop. They can stop any government. That's what I'm saying, Nestle, right?
No, I'm coming.
I'm quoting. That's what I'm going to the law now. As long as it's against the law, but against the law,
no, you're saying let's get this right for the sake of our audience. Maybe we'll just stop on the discussion and go to the phone lines. But you just mentioned that once it has to do with the breach of the law, because the judiciary is the one that has the constitutional authority to interpret the law,
yes,
they can interfere.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying, that once you talk about interference, then it has to do with tampering with how another branch of government is supposed to carry on their functions, their duties, or their responsibility. For example, if the Supreme Court now starts to say that you stop everything you're doing at the House of Representatives.
All
right? Go back to status quo ante. All that thing in your day, just get rid of it. Would that not be interference?
It's not interference.
I'm coming. From the angle of the House of Representatives, they think that what they are doing is in the confines of the law, and they are doing it in line with what their own branch of government is supposed to do with respect to how to remove speaker, the process. You have to have the numbers. It's more political. The political process is playing out, and people say, "What? The House, that legislature is the biggest political theater." So they are carrying on a political activity. So if the judiciary comes in and says that, look, the political thing you're doing here, you stop it. You go back to status quo ante. In fact, you're wrong. Majority black, you're wrong. Or minority black, you're wrong. Would that not be interference? And if there's interference by one branch of government, does that not in any way, and that's the point I want us to get. At what point do we draw the line between interference and the actual function of these branches of government? Yeah, go ahead, Mark. Let's conclude.
Let me conclude. Nessie, the judiciary, right? The judiciary branch are there to interpret laws.
Yeah.
They're in the debt to lay guidelines when it comes to constitutional matter.
Yeah.
But be it that, they cannot interfere if, let me use the word if, right?
Mama,
I come in,
take us,
no,
take us to
but
all
that's
that
not
thing.
what
You
we do.
can't
You
go
see,
too far. Why do we draw the
that's
line
not what
between
we call it. That's not what I'm
interfering
saying.
and
Yes or no
dysfunction?
question.
No, I want
And
you
how
to
it
hear
works,
this.
Nancy. I gotta explain. I gotta explain, right? I gotta explain
Okay,
what
okay,
we
go
made
ahead.
it to
Let me
interfere
give you 20 seconds to
in
explain.
any constitutional matter, as long as it's against the constitution, and if it bring to them, I mean, let's say the body bring it to them, right? They say, okay, we file a complaint, and because the entity going against our guideline and the constitution, you get it right to court and to check. That's not interfering, Nestle. Interfering in somebody else,
Okay.
sit down. Yeah, I think that's interfering. That's
You know,
it's going
thank
with the
you.
guideline.
And again, I want to highlight one comment, and then I'm going to come to you, George. Then we take Chris, and then go to the phone lines. Gabriel Buema. Gabriel, you made a very important point here. You're following from YouTube. He said, the doctrine of the separation of power means that one branch of government does not have jurisdiction over the internal matters of another
Other branch.
branch. And now I want us to underscore the internal
Internal.
matter,
Within himself, yeah.
of
Mhm.
another branch.
I disagree with him.
I
Nelson,
mean,
here's why I disagree with my brother. I think his name is what is his name again? Gabriel Buami. Nelson, here's why I disagree with him. So I don't know if he meant when he say internal, that means the cardinal responsibility of that branch of government, right? Like for the judiciary cannot come to us and tell us this is how you must make the law. That is interfering within our cardinal responsibility,
the
right?
internal, yeah.
Yeah. That is a cardinal responsibility, making law oversight and representation. They cannot come and say no, represent you do it this way. No, they cannot tell you how to do it because that's your cardinal responsibility. Like they can go and tell the judiciary how to interpret the law, right? They make the law, but they will not tell them how to interpret it. You see it? So that's one thing, right? That they will not go to the president and say, look, this is how you should do your speech, because that's his cardinal responsibility. What they can't interfere in, or the core word when they say interfere and intervention, it's almost the same. It's just left with what you want, how you want to use it, because you can interfere and you can intervene. But Nelson, you cannot tell me that the law is being abrogated, right? By one entity or one branch of government, then you say the judiciary cannot interfere. No, their cardinal responsibility is to interpret the law. So when they see that the law is being abrogated, they must come in, regardless of what branch it is. That's it.
They put them on the law.
Interpretation of the law. In their interpretation of the law, if they went ahead to tell the majority black, for example, that everything you did is wrong.
But
and you're not
against
just
the
saying,
constitution,
no,
according to the law,
a lawyer against the constitution, they get the right to say. Did I tell the person don't?
You guys are interfering. You guys are interfering with the smooth functioning of the show tonight.
Exactly.
But this is important, and I don't know as to whether we're going to settle down on this discussion. I don't know as to whether we're all going to agree on this, but this is just where we are. If the judiciary gets to that point where, following the interpretation of the law, they gave a final ruling, a final verdict to say, you dissolve everything you did. Anti-status quo, you'll go back to what it used to be. It will be beyond just the interpretation of the law now. Now, the judiciary interprets the law, but it doesn't stop there. Following the interpretation of the law, if George and Mobile went to court, for example, the judiciary uses the law and interprets the action of the both parties and say, Mobile, you are wrong. George, you are right.
Yes, I'm always right.
Yeah, you're always right. You see this shit. So, George, you are right.
Yeah.
It's beyond just George being right. There's a penalty.
Then the executive come and take the man to prison. The executive
No,
will come and take him to
okay,
prison.
very good. There's a
Yeah,
penalty
somebody get a
attached
role to play.
to mobile being wrong. That is why mobile would either maybe have to go to prison. If you have to pay fine or whatever, pay the fines. Now, in the case with the judicial with the legislature, beyond just interpreting the law to say majority black you wrong or minority black you wrong, whoever is wrong, there will be some penalty, there will be some instruction, some caveat or whatever, and that will have to either do with, okay, Councilor Kofa, you are out. What the people did is right, so forget about this speakership. Or majority black, you are wrong, so because of this, you'll go back under the gabble of Councilor Kofa. How do we distinguish that from interference?
Okay.
Because by telling them go back,
Yeah.
you're telling them what to do in their internal affairs that has been going on.
Okay,
How do we
Nelson.
distinguish that from interference?
Yeah, Nelson.
So,
Let me.
are we driving to a point to say that the justice minister was right when he said the judiciary should stay off this thing, and because
wrong.
the people have their internal affairs going on, they should settle their matter?
He's wrong, Nelson. He's
Okay.
wrong.
Uh,
And
Okay.
here's why.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay, why?
Whose time? Whose time? Okay.
Okay, no,
Yeah, he's
just go
wrong.
ahead. Why? Then we take
Yeah,
Chris.
he's wrong. He's wrong because, as we all know, the cardinal responsibility of, and I see one John Henner, the guy made a very salient point here, Nelson. You must read it as well. He said, because there is a difference in opinion of the interpretation of the law, the judiciary must come in to interpret the law. Because you guys are saying we can do this, the law someone do this. No, that's not the right thing. I interpret it differently, Just like this mobile man, you see, he can't credit money from me. He get my money, then he say he will pay, he not pay, then we'll go to court, ain't getting me. Then I catch him behind the horse, ain't getting me. He say, my man, I told you I'm gonna pay you, I'm pay you. I said, but your responsibility was to pay me, and I want my money. So he got a different interpretation. I got a different interpretation. We go to court and the court said, man, you owe the mayor. You say you're going to pay on the 12th. You didn't pay on the 12th. I said 12. I answered the 12th of this month. He said, no, you said on the 12th. And the next 12th of last month, you should have paid in that 12th. So you see it? So the judiciary must come in. Nelson, once the law is not being interpreted the way it should be interpreted. So for instance, the way they go there now, they would just say who is interpreting the law the right way. Or if the board they are not interpreting the law the right way, they will tell them, say, guys, go back. You are not interpreting the law. Just how you sort of interpret it. So they will tell them what to do. You make the law, but you don't interpret it. That's the whole
Thank
thing.
you. And you're right. John Heenan is making a great point. He says the two parties are interpreting the law differently. So why say who's right, who's wrong, and another and it's very important. But let's take your input on this, Chris, and then go to the lines and we'll take just 5 calls tonight because we're out of time.
Okay, thank you, Nelson. Firstly,
where do we draw the line between interference?
Is where I come in. From my understanding, right? It's interfering, right? In this case, the Supreme Court is not interfering because the Supreme Court never went out there to just talk with those guys. There are people who brought the case to them because they felt that they proceeded not to just rightly. They give a redress to the court, to the Supreme Court. So in that case, if they're not interfering, and the Supreme Court can say, gentlemen, if nobody can complain to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court just wake up and call those guys what you're doing, affecting the country, your stop, that could be interfering. But in this case, somebody brought complaint, and the Supreme Court is a final arbiter of judgment of the land. So now the people to get final justice, they have come to the Supreme Court. What our police are doing, we are not happy. We came to you to address what happened unconstitutional. Now the Supreme Court going to interpret the judicial, going to interpret the Constitution, the law to them. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. SYZ. This is what's going to happen now that we're not. In that case, I don't think the Supreme Court is interfering. I think it's a tactics that they say that generally the justice minister are trying to do, to cajole people in the process. But we think the Supreme Court will come with a better decision that both parties will understand or lay back. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chris. Let's go to the phone lines and take just 5 calls: 0555 and we have our WhatsApp line. I'm going to put up now, so we'll take just 5 calls, and then we go home tonight on this edition of the program. This is the late night show, the late night politics on Spoon and Nelson Colette, Josh Wheeler here, Moba Zoka, Chris Silly. Let's take your calls. 0555 is the number to call. I want to put the WhatsApp up, but I don't know why I'm not. Okay, so this is the WhatsApp line. You can call us on WhatsApp as well. Let's take this person. Hello, your name and where you calling from?
Yeah. Good morning.
Morning, sir. Let's hear you.
Yeah, my name is Kanem Trey and I come from Pinsdale.
Yeah, let's hear your take on this issue.
Okay. My contribution to the topic under discussion this morning is that the judiciary branch, the Supreme Court branch of government, at present, if you look at the other 2 branches of government, the judiciary is by far, the most erudite, the most educated, the most learned branch of government professionals over the other 2 branches of government. Why? They are in this instant case. They are over there to be able to make a decision to avoid constitutional crisis. The constitutional requirement over the removal of Councillor Fernando Kofa, Speaker Fernando Kofa, was never followed. He was never given due process. And as such, we depend on the Supreme Court. If my people in Babel over there are afflicted by the law, should they say politics is a part of it? And so they should look at the political nature and should not look at the legal implication.
Thank you.
The law is the law and must be followed. We depend on the Supreme Court to be able to make a judgment in this case.
Thank you very much for your input. Hello, the second caller, your name and where you calling from the WhatsApp line.
Yeah, Nelson, how you doing? This is Abraham. The you guys calling from the US of A.
Okay,
how
go
you
ahead.
doing?
Yes, sir. We okay.
I want to say thank you to those panelists with you tonight. I think we all should understand, even though I'm a supporter of Unity Party, but I think the majority bloc, I think they have to go back to status quo because you see the Supreme Court go around looking for case. If they knew that they could settle it, the majority bloc were not going to get up to go to the Supreme Court. So they brought it to the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court will have to tell them to interpret the law. They made a law. Okay. But they made a law. They cannot interpret the law. So the Supreme Court interpret the law to them.
Thank you.
I think that is the right thing they're doing.
Thank you very much for your input. Let's hold you there, and we'll take one call from the local line. Okay, we lost that caller, so let's take the WhatsApp call, and then we'll go back to the local line. Hello, your name and where you call from, sir?
Yeah, Nancy. This is for calling from Cedar Rabbit.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
You see, all of us that from Liberia and live Liberia, we are lawyers. One way or the other. This is how the systems were built, and we grew all in the system. Because this one will can't interpret the law, this one can't interpret the law. All of you guys today at the Supreme Court, you all heard Councillor Vani chairman argument. And the Justice Minister came out and said, point blank, we're taking ourselves from all of this. Because the Justice Minister and the Solicitor General, they are part of the executive. You see how it works? If you did your business civics in Liberia, they excluded themselves. There is a reason there because they cannot join or they cannot be part of the legislative branch crisis. Therefore, the Supreme Court, when the verdicts come down, the Supreme Court will send those people back and say, you'll go. I think those of you who followed the law, you read the law post. He asked a simple question. Logic, one. We Liberians say Delon did not go to school. He's still in third grade. But his third grade education is more than people who
That
have
smart third
PhDs.
grader. That smart third grader.
So next to all of those things, it will bow down. And I said it this to you that at the end result, Funati going to resign. Because the reason is Josh is sitting down there, Chris is sitting down there, Moluba is there, you are there. If you tell your wife, I don't want you again, you think the mother-in-law will come convince you? If the woman can cook for you in the house, everything you say, the woman yell at you.
Thank you.
Come on, man. Then Liberian be people that can really understand.
Thank you very much for your input, sir. We appreciate you.
The ruling, Supreme Court not going to say nothing. It will just be like Tyler, how they call him, Elvin Snow.
Thank you. I want to hold you there, sir.
Funati will resign.
Thank you. Let's hold you there and take this person from the local line, the third caller. We're taking just 5 calls. This is the third. Hello? Your name and where you calling from?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, sir. Let's hear you.
Yeah, I'm Boga Soko Salif. I live in Kawer. I ran Babulu District 1. I came number 4 on the undergoing election. However, basically, I want to let you know that the court are never and will never go in the main street looking for case. You who have grievances, you go to the court, especially to the Supreme Court and other courts. So, the speaker went to the court. The court is not passing around looking for case.
Okay.
Yeah, it is clear on the wall. So, nowhere in the world court look for case. People go to the court for the case.
So you think in this case is not interference because the speaker he took the matter to the court.
Stop that. The word interference for the election and then our somehow cheated. Where can I go? If they embark speaker for speaker, what the guy name the newest Kofa is the original speaker.
Okay.
The other speaker
Richard Kuhn.
Richard Kuhn going to go to election and being cheated. Why would he go with this case?
I want to hold you there because we're out of time. Let's take the last 2 calls now. This person from the WhatsApp, and we'll take another person. Hello?
No, I want you to answer my question. Where will he go?
Oh, yeah. Obviously, he will go to the court.
He will go to the court and talk about interference. Stop doing that. It's not interference.
Thank you. But the justice minister is saying that the judiciary should avoid.
He's still more than the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Look at the justice minister's salary. Is that equal to that of the chief justice? No.
I know that one now.
Is the chief justice office, the justice minister office budget equal to the chief justice? No. The chief justice is the interpreter of the law.
Thank you, sir.
Everything you think on in this country.
Let's hold you there. Let's hold you there. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Let's take this call from the WhatsApp line. Hello. Go ahead. Let's hear you quickly.
Good morning, Nelson.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning to the panelists. Yeah, I think the
your name, sir, and where you're calling from.
Okay. I'm Abraham Kamara, calling you from Monrovia, Congo Town, Bible. I tried to get your Lustar number, but it was unfortunate. So
but go ahead. You still good here. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, the issue of the legislator is very, very difficult for us. I think the Minister of Justice should have helped the Supreme Court in resolving this situation instead of just sitting back and saying this is a political matter. We all know it's political, but it has some irregularity in it. That's why I carry it to the court. So when you go to the court, for the court to find a way out, it was necessary that a justice minister could act on the Supreme Court in resolving it.
Okay.
Because when the majority say they have their own speaker, and then
too bad. Your line has frozen. But folks, I think we're gonna hold it here. I want to say thanks to everyone who called in tonight. It's been a great show. Let's do our closing 1 minute each. Chris, let's start with you, and then we'll go around the table.
Thank you. Thank to our callers, people who took on their own time to call us, both on the WhatsApp and the direct numbers. We say thank you. And next thing I just want to say, like me, I'm not a supporter of Kofa. I'm not a supporter of the majority black. I stand by the Constitution because I believe that my daughter or my son should be a president tomorrow. That they should live by the law and the Constitution of Liberia. So along the Constitution, I mean, they respected, some of us will make our voice to be heard. So again, if the Supreme Court comes up with the final result, either this week or early next week, the both parties, then they'll be able to abide by the result from the Supreme Court. Thank you.
Thank you. Josh, your closing, sir. 1 minute.
Look, Nelson, thank you very much. I want to thank our listeners, people who take up their time to come and listen. We are learning from each other. I want to applaud the callers as well. But yes, what I want to close with, Nelson, I think our president is the most incompetent president we've had in many years. Nelson, for the fact that we had yellow machines, 285 yellow machine fiasco, nothing happened. We had the buses from Ghana, the old buses from Ghana. They brought them, they paraded them around town, and the buses went right back to Kumasi in Ghana, and nothing happened. Nelson, they had this police booth at the 72nd Boulevard or SKD Boulevard Junction. Nelson, that police booth, as we speak, the police booth is no longer there because the same thing I said here. I said because there was no bollard to protect it, cars will hit that booth and it's no longer there. Nelson, nothing has happened, Nelson. So this president is doing this so that he can distract the Liberian people from the emptiness of this government. That's why he's not intervening. That's why he's not talking to his lawmakers from his party to stop this thing. That's why this thing is continuing, Nelson. That's why he continues to send his ministers, his ministers and deputy ministers to go there and stand before the majority bloc to do whatever they're doing. This is completely a letdown for the Liberian people. I think it's ridiculous what we have come to because our president is incompetent. He doesn't know what he's doing. And we appeal to him to step down and leave our country because it will be the most important thing to do, to leave our country alone and let our country live. He's on the neck of these countries, breathing only every day since he began an adult. He's been living on government money. And this old man is going to his grave and still eating our money and doing nothing for the Liberian people. So we just appeal to him to leave our country alone with us. Thank you. God bless you and God bless Liberia.
Thank you very much for your input. Mobile, take us home.
So when the president leaves the country, who will put it again? We'll put Joey Abba. Let me do my
You put me less, I'll do better than him.
Josh Funny, let me do my crazy. Look, for me, I'm going to legislature saga. Like I would just get cooler to all the ministry that functioning very well, more especially Mo Ali. Now you see people, a lot of people get running water. He changed a lot of pipes, he's doing well. And Amos Square to LPRC, gas price all the way down close to 600, 500 people buying gas. We must commend these things, man. We must come and talk about it. Not come every day, you be talking about Baga there today, you go like, bro, you buy gas for 500 in your car. You go, where great you there? Son, no. You come and you buying 1,000. Doing job at 1,000.
You got gas cheap on the market, on the world market.
You see?
We don't produce
any. Let me do my talking about. Gas in the market. What about gas in the market? Every time gas price going up, they say gas cheap. The strategy the people using now make it to the gas price going down. And all and my appeal today to all entity, to all of ministry and all of whatsoever. Let it try and come out.
People, to make gas.
My man, you see,
Come on, man. Come on. No,
man,
no,
George, you can't use that type of words,
I
man.
just asking you that question.
No, George, you gotta
No,
take that.
man.
Okay. That Papa don't want to dig in the gas.
No, yeah, Josh, we're on national TV, and
You
apart
can't use
from
that
that,
type of word, my man.
we have
My man, let me
Adrian
say,
Hunter
Baba.
is a public official, you know,
Yeah.
so we can address
No, you can say things, but not that type of word you can say, my man. Let me
thank you,
say
Mama. Mama, thanks for your
So
closing.
anytime you want to talk good about the government, let me have that and say thank you, Mama, right?
Praise, we appreciate you. Josh, thanks for being here. It's been a great show.
Josh, I will destroy you tomorrow. Trust me, I'll put my
They
dad
will
tomorrow.
come back. I want to say
I'll
to
put
our
my dad.
audience, we
Trust me.
appreciate all of you. Madam Marcia Snelling, thanks for being here tonight. We appreciate you, ma'am. Tanji Sese, thanks for being here. We appreciate you. David Kor, we appreciate you as well. Thanks for coming on. Jiba Sharif, we appreciate you. Gabriel Boyman, John Hinen, thanks to everyone for being on here tonight. I love this name, Simeon the Wish Hunter Cha.
I want to pour in your trouble here.
Thanks a lot to all of you for joining us.
You buying your phone right now?
We look forward to being here tomorrow. Until then, folks, have a good night and bye-bye for now. Late night show will be on hopefully tomorrow. Abraham Dunor, thanks for watching as well. Bye-bye to everyone.